Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bedomy and this is Guild Wars 2, a free-to-play MMORPG developed by ArenaNet and published by NCSoft. Oh, I messed this one up. But let's be honest, this is part of a course, so what do you expect? Anyway, what is Guild Wars? Well, Guild Wars is an MMORPG, as I already stated. You create your own character by... well, you create your own character and enter an open world, which is fairly expansive, as you can probably see. And I'm scrolling as much as I can up. I'm scrolling as much as I can here, so you can see all of it. And yeah, this is just the base. This is just the vanilla portion of the world. I'm currently... actually, no, this is... approximately everything you can see on the screen right now is the vanilla world, where you can access and participate in all of the side content with the free-to-play account. So you're not paying for anything, but you do have a lot of fun content you can participate in at your own leisure. You can participate in dungeon raids. You can participate in side quests all around the world, which are all pretty fun and easy to finish. You can explore, you can participate in hero points earning in specific quests that will grant you skill points for your character. You can explore the area, you can earn achievements, you can trade, you can craft, you can participate in your own personal story missions. Well, personal story missions are... well, yeah, that's pretty accurate to say. Every character has its own personal story that deals with a massive threat to the world itself. And it takes you all around the whole... and the whole story usually... well, usually takes you around the whole vanilla map. As you can see, I visited all of these areas throughout the course of the story, and due to my own will to explore the map, which is a very flattering thing, because I generally don't like open world games because they're massive and they don't have anything to do in them. But Guild Wars in the world of Tyria is an interesting world, and I want to explore it just for the sake of exploration and achievements. Let's be honest, there are some areas that you can only that will fill out your fill out your meter for achievement meter by exploring the area or a certain portion of the map. So if you want 100% one area, you have to visit teleportation points of interest, and vistas, which will fill out this area completion meter, and that will grant you some minor rewards by the end of it. And don't be confused. The game does have a pretty fun exploration involved in it, but the combat is also pretty fun. As you can see, you have 5 different skill slots, and they're all interchangeable depending on which weapons you're using. So if I switch from a swordsman to a hammer and axe, I'll retain the axe abilities, which is a dual strike and whirling and a whirlwind. But depending on which hand I'm using which weapon, it will affect which abilities I can use in combat. So let's go outside a bit, outside of the starting area for my character, and visit the world around us. So in Guild Wars you have 5 different races you can start with. Mine is Char, so I started off in the Black Citadel, which is the Char homeworld. Well, yeah, it's a homeworld. That actually, when we get to the map, I'll show you something important. The Black Citadel is a home base for all intents and purposes, but The Black Citadel is the homeworld, but this whole area here, Ascalon, is the Char homeworld. It's populated by my own kind, and it's filled with challenges, dangers, and other things you don't want to... Well, you want to deal with to get experience when you're starting off. Since this is a... Since I'm currently watching the vanilla world, right now we'll focus on the vanilla portion of the gameplay.
Come talk to me.
Just to clarify, for this video I'll... Okay, let's move a bit far away so you don't have to... Okay, let's move a bit more, just to get you to the gameplay itself a bit easier. There we go. I said that this game is a free-to-play game, but that only counts for the vanilla, as I mentioned already. So all of the content in the vanilla world is open to you to play and explore at your own leisure. And just to help demonstrate, there's a new player here who is trying to level up, so let's run around to help him a bit. And as you can see, there's a heart in this area of the map. This is a quest that I can partake in to earn hero points and level up my character. Since I maxed out my character's experience already, since I maxed out my character, I can still earn experience, but I'll have to go for masteries, which is a different form of leveling up. I need to find I need to find the specific points that I can gather and then invest them into specific mastery trees. These are all paid for in the expansion, unfortunately, so you will be able to access this stuff in free-to-play game. But you can max your character in free-to-play portion, and then if you decide to play the game more seriously, you can basically purchase the expansions, which will give you access to a lot of interesting side content. For example, you'll get access to mounts, you can get access to gliders and other very useful abilities, such as masteries and other areas of the map. As you can see, I'm currently gliding along. But yes, the free-to-play portion of the game is fairly generous for the new players. You get to experience the best portion of the gameplay without any major content locked out of the way. So as you saw, the combat's pretty fun, all things considered. You have 5 combat activatable abilities, and you have 5 support abilities, which can be either active or passive. I have a couple of passive abilities that will grant me improved precision and rage and what, and then it grants me additional abilities when I activate the said support skills. And there are also some other abilities I can use in combat, or in specific, well, mostly in combat, to keep myself alive and well, and as well as my allies. So yes, as you can see, this is the Char homeworld, where everything is a bit more industrial and militaristic, since the Char are very much focused on military discipline and innovation, and well, mostly military might. They're one of the strongest. Well, I'm saying this as a personal bias, since I love the Char as a race, but yeah, they're pretty much one of the funnier races to play with. There are no race bonuses for your characters, but you can roleplay a bit if you know where to look. There are some RP groups in the game that allow you to participate in the world by, well, not by enforcing specific play styles, but you can play your character by following the lore of the world, basically. And honestly, I do apologize. I want to give you as much of the. I want to show you as much of the content, but I honestly don't know where to start when it comes to the gameplay. But lovely. We just bumbled into some side content here. So we are going to participate in that. Since this is a starter world, I'm going to show you just the basics of it. Let's see, there we go. We have to resurrect someone.
What do you want?
So as you can see, the world always has something. You always have something to do in the world itself. And you're usually rewarded with the loot from the corpses, as well as loot rewards that's directly oriented towards your character.
That looks valuable.
There you go. Since the 10th year anniversary is still going, I'm getting some special rewards, and these are granted to every player that participates in world events, which are small side missions that occur as the game, all around the game world, and you can just access them by walking into an area and participating in combat or helping around with specific duties. For example, in this area you can place traps and fix traps to trap these lizard-like creatures, or collect their eggs and bring them to the quest giver. Or just by resurrecting fallen comrades you're participating in the world and war effort. Don't think this is the fetch quests are the only thing you'll participate in. There are some missions. There are some side quests that will require that you disguise yourself as a drake or a crab, and then participate in something specific. So as you can see, this is a beginner's item box you can get by exploring, slaying creatures and whatnot. Since I'm over-leveled for, well, I am over-leveled for this equipment, so I'm not gonna use it. So I'm just gonna get rid of it. And as you can see, there's something interesting about the game. Depending on which area you're in, the game will scale your health and skills to that level of the area. So if you're a level 12 character in a 50 level area, the game will try to balance things by putting you to a minimum level required will boost your skills to the minimum level required for the said area. And the opposite can be applied for lower level areas if you're over leveled. So if I'm maxed out level and this is a beginner area, my level will be lowered to level. Let's see. This is This is a 1 to 15 level area, so I'll be lower to level 15. So it's fun how the game has a very fun way of scaling things up for the player. But yeah, I think we can hop into a little more challenging area so you can see, so that you can see a different area. But don't think this is the old everything you'll see in the world of Tyria. As I said, every area really is designed with specific races in mind. So Ascalon, you can expect a lot of plains and, well, most of the areas you will visit are technically plains, but I think Ascalon is more mountainy and barren. Yeah, it's not a barren wasteland, but you'll see a difference once you visit, let's say I visit Kryta, which is populated by forests and other different races. Well, every race can visit the other races of the world, but excuse me. But there will be there are some differences you will have to keep an eye out. So this is one of the bigger world events you can walk in on. Just make sure you're properly leveled to participate in it. Oh wait, this is a lower level. Wait, it's also a starting area. But it's a pretty fun area to be in. So as you can see, every quest has some uniqueness to it. You can close off these portals and then then you have to talk to ghosts to see what's bothering them. So don't think that Guild Wars takes will force you to do fetch quests and go there, kill something. It will ask of you to participate in different sort of there are some unique quests that you can participate in. Unfortunately, I'm only coming across more combat oriented. Events. But you can also participate in different sorts of fetch quests and gather quests and simple explore and escort events. So at the moment I'm just exploring the area to show you a bits and pieces of the open world. But you might want to. There is something I want you to. I think you should know. Depending on the area, you will encounter strong monsters, which are considered veterans, legendary monsters, and monsters with different levels to them. They give you decent loot and a good chunk of experience if you can beat them. But be careful. They're usually followed by minor creatures that are, which are not as powerful as their bosses, but they can overwhelm you with numbers. So tougher opponents can be a pain to deal with. Also, most of these monsters will usually be around areas such as these, which are hero points and stronger collectibles which you can interact with or collect. For example, the hero point is is your skill point you can collect. As you can see, I've done quite a lot of exploring, so I collected quite a lot of them. And most of these hero points are usually these glowing lights you can just interact with to gather a point, but you can also collect certain items that will grant you a hero point. They're always highlighted by this icon, and depending on its how filled out it is, you will get you'll know that the set point is collected or not. So this is filled out with yellow, so that means I collected it. But if it was not collected, this would be brownish with yellow outline. Once you connect enough skill points, you can invest in your skills, such as your basic physical skills and specialization skills, and once you fill that out, you can go and build up your, well, I'm gonna call this a deck. Let's put it mildly. Depending on your character, you can build up. You can build up to 3 decks in total, and I currently have 2 builds for my main character and 1 build for my secondary character. And as you can see, there's a decent there's a list for every skill you can equip depending on which weapon you're using and in which hand. So if I'm using a hammer or a sword combination, or a axe and sword combination, and depending on the hand I'm using, my weapon abilities will be different. So a hammer, which is a 2-handed weapon, will allow me to use all 5 of these abilities, while a combination of a sword and main hand and a mace or an axe or a dagger will grant me additional side attacks for the last 2 attacks on my offhand. Slots, slots are just my passive abilities that I can equip here. Traits are traits, which are passive bonuses you can get from the build you're using. So I'm using the combination of a strength build and a discipline build with my spellbreaker specialization, which is a specific specialization you get with the Path of Fire expansion, but we'll get to that in another video, I hope. So I'm gonna take us to a different area again, just to demonstrate a bit more of the world. So let's go to this is a starting area, so I don't want to spoil too much of the game for anyone. So I'm just gonna stick around these beginners areas where you can see different quests and different areas. But as you can see, this is a human territory. This is a human controlled territory mostly. So you'll see a lot of more. I won't say Lord of the Rings, but you will see a lot more human-based fantasy, like castles, wizards, and these Shire-esque farms and greenery. And every area has its own enemies you can deal with and missions you'll participate in. And depending on which character you're playing and which race you start off with, you will have different you'll have a different story mission to participate in. So as a Char, you start off in the Black Citadel, and you have to participate in your own personal story that deals with your origins, with your own struggles and whatnot. And I'm just still talking about races. We still have to take a look at the classes themselves. As you can see, this girl here is using the Mesmer class, which is a combination of a illusionist and a wizard. And considering which weapon you're using, the spells you get access to is different. For example, this elementalist is using a staff which is normal, so he'll be more oriented towards some heavy damage per second, while the illusionist is more focused on crowd control and healing abilities. To be fair, elementalists themselves can also be pretty powerful healers and support units, but by default most people go to Mesmers for healing and teleportation. So yeah, it's every class has its own perks and abilities you can participate in.
Alert!
So yes, I would recommend that you play this game when you have the chance. It's free, and if you want to participate in additional content, you can always purchase the expansions, which there are 3 of them. The 3 main expansions, that is, they give you access to different gameplay aspects and specific areas. But there are also certain expansions you could participate in. Well, there are certain free expansions you could participate in if you have purchased the expansions as well. So as you can see, you have 3 main expansions, which is the Path of Fire and Heart of Thorns and End of Dragons. And then you have the 3 expansions, which are considered the Living Will expansions. These are small story-based missions, which have been released periodically throughout the course of the game, and they all had quite a significant effect on the world around you. So the first Living Will season ended up with the destruction of. Okay, this is some spoiler level territory, but just give me a second. I'll try to locate the area. Lion's Arch, where are you? I think this is. Yeah, there we go. The area code is Lion's Arch. This is when the game started. This area was quite different, and by the end of the first living season, the area was destroyed and then rebuilt. So that's how they explained the rework of the map. So yeah, the game world tries to be dynamic with the Living World seasons, and this is something I really respect. I really respect in the game itself.
Good. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. You chat, you die. Let's get going. Melissa Aiden.
So yeah, there's always something to do in the game. Even if you're participating in something mundane as a escort quest, you can still participate in something fun. So for example, escorting this character is something you could do on almost every MMORPG, but the fun thing about this mission is, even if you decide to abandon the quest during or mid-fight, or if you join it mid-fight or mid-progression, you will still get rewarded for it. And this is as I said, this ghost here that's glowing. That's a raid that's gonna occur in in the near. Well, this is a high level hunt. Let's call it that. It's a very fun event where you have to chase the ghost across the map in order to get rewards and also get crafting materials that you might need. And yeah, again, this is a Mesmer class again in action, and depending on which weapons you're using, you'll be granted different abilities on how to fight. So Mesmers will use 5 different Mesmer abilities are located here on the right, while the combat abilities are on the left, as I mentioned already. It's a very fun game. It's a very fun game to participate in, and what's even funnier is the fact that if you unlock something as one character, you get access to that unlock to all of your characters, which is a pretty nice thing of the game. Though let's be honest. Nobody wants to participate in the same quest multiple times to unlock the same mount. So I'm glad that ArenaNet considers these things considers replayability for other players, which is a good thing. I am really grateful that the developers did that. So let's see. Crafting materials and dyes and outfits, hero outfits. Well, I don't have anything unlocked, but dyes for your armor and other pieces of different skins for your outfits are universal. To put it like that, they give you granted access to them with all of your characters, so you don't have to repeat or repurchase something multiple
This is
times.
what I'm paying you for.
So yes, I'm gonna stick with this quest for a while just to show you, but as you can see, as the game goes, you'll get access to different areas with different enemies, different crafting items and whatnot, and as you can see, there are collectibles you can in the area you can collect and gather experience from. For example, if I don't want to fight someone, I can just grab an axe, get to the tree here, and try to.
Here they come again. Make quick work of them.
And try to gather materials for crafting, which is a pretty nice thing to have, and especially if you're trying to craft a piece of armor or weaponry. Also, their inventory management is pretty fun as well. As you can see, you have access to different loot bags, which can vary in size and shape. Some of them have 20 slots, some of them have 8, and there are also loot bag slots that you can unlock at your own leisure. All this can be unlocked through in-game purchases, so you don't have to pay a dime for inventory slots and whatnot. You can just play the game, earn gold, and then exchange it for the needed currency and Black Lion's sword. And since there's since there's the 10-year anniversary event going on, you're gonna be granted some additional rewards for purchasing items. Well, you can sell and trade. Well, you can sell and trade items on Black Lion Store, which is a auction house of sorts. You trade with other players, or you can just find a local merchant in the area and then trade in your unwanted goods and items for the necessary gold. But I would recommend that you use the Black Lion Trading Office to earn more, because most players usually look for something specific. So you'll be granted granted better prices. You can sell things for a better price, all things considered, and you can even haggle for it a bit. Let's see, wrong button. Let's see, trading posts. I can list one of my items for sale. Unfortunately, I don't have anything that I can sell right now, but at the very least, I got the quest done, and that granted me some gold as well. Well, it's copper and silver in this case, but it also granted me some karma, which is a different form of currency you can sell. You can use to purchase some different items. So, honestly, I want to show you some endgame content, but I don't want to spoil too much. Well, I can show you the endgame worlds and areas. So let's visit this area for now. This is a dungeon area and a snowy part of the world where the Norn race chose to reside in. So the Norns are the half-giant Vikings of the world, and a very fun race to learn about. They worship their ancestors and natural and animal spirits of the world. And also you can explore and have some fun in some of their events. They love their drinking, they love their mead, and they have some fun monsters to deal with, so you're pretty much encouraged to utilize your skills to their fullest. So you have to know how and when to dodge your enemy's attacks, when to use your defensive abilities, when to use your attack abilities with the local monsters. And, well, not just monsters, also local raiders and other wildlife. And also, depending on the world you're participating in, you'll encounter these areas which are dungeons, which you can enter at your own leisure to progress the story, or just explore with other players in a party. I would recommend that you go in with a party, because solo queuing a dungeon is a very frustrating affair. Mostly because these are designed to be. These areas are designed to be difficult for solo queuing players. So you really need to be either very skilled at what you're doing, or you need to be very lucky with what you're doing, lucky with your enemy, with the enemy placement, and with the area and traps you need to deal with. So yeah, the world itself is pretty fun. As you can see, every area has different monsters to deal with, as well as different species to species and gameplay to explore. As you can see, some enemies have bastards. Some enemies have very unique abilities which can knock you down or incapacitate you for a couple of seconds, and then you have to be careful on how you deal with your opposition. But no risk, no reward, as they say. So I'm gonna hop off to a different area again, just to show you a bit more of the world. I would like to show you the dungeons and whatnot, but as I said, you need a party too. You need to have a party, or at least an incredible amount of skill to survive the dungeons on your own. And also, it takes a lot of time and effort and concentration to actually survive in a dungeon on your own. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna participate in them just now because I'm trying to talk and play. I'm trying to just casually play and talk to you guys. So yes, I'm just gonna focus on this gameplay in front of me. And as you saw, the game requires that the game will randomly, well, not randomly, it will periodically spawn in events for you to participate in, and ask you to utilize your abilities in defense of serious citizens from either undead plagues or other powerful enemies. Unfortunately, I would like to show you a bit more different quests, but at the moment I'm only encountering combat encounters. So yeah, we're gonna run around a bit more, but I think this pretty much covers the gameplay for all it's worth. You can, as I said, you can gather resources and which will grant you levels depending on your proficiency and equipment. As you can see, I'm a fighter, so I don't. I'm a fighter, so I don't. So I'm not very good at mining or anything that requires resource gathering, but I am pretty decent when it comes to finding the undead and other forms of life-threatening occurrences. Also, as I said, every mission, every side quest you can participate in has something unique to it. And you can also Boston. Also, you can encounter enemy mobs around the area that will either attack you on the spot, or they will try to ignore you for the time being until you start attacking them. So So I'm just gonna try to finish off this guy quickly. There we go.
Those were no ordinary Asura. They were Inquest operatives. Evil Asura.
I suspect they wanted us for experimentation. Remain vigilant in case they return.
And here I thought our greatest
So, yeah.
worry was dragon spawn.
So yeah, the lore of the world is interesting as well. Every race has its own evil sub-faction. For example, the plant people here, I also forgot what their Silvari or Silvari are plant people, and they are generally considered one of the nicest races to be with, to talk to, or to deal with in general. But then you have their evil counterpart, which is the Nightmare Court, which are trying to, well, not only serve the dragons that are trying to destroy the world, but they're also trying to enslave everyone and everything. The Asura are your, well, elvish dwarves, to put it simply. Give me a second, I'll try to remember which area the Asura live in, so I can give you a... Okay, this is the Silvari area, so I think that our Asuran friends are located somewhere around this area. I think we'll see a few Asuras here. Just give me a second to locate them. No, these are Silvari. These are not Asuran, these are just your friendly NPCs, but even they have their evil counterparts, so there is always something in someone to find and talk to. Ah, there we go. And this is the usual side questing area. You can visit at your own leisure and there we go. Something new to do. So yes, as you can see, depending on the area you're in, you can participate in different side quests. For example, this one mission requires me that I get rid of the undead in the area, which is not only combat oriented, it also requires that I go around the area and try to get rid of the undead remains. Oh, there we go. It's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it. And I just discovered a different area to explore. As you can see, I came across an unexplored vista as well as an unexplored teleportation area, so I'm always rewarded and encouraged to explore a bit. Now I'm going to cheat a bit here and go to the vista like this for the usage of a mount, but every area in Central Tyria can be accessed by pure exploration. You just have to find a way to... You just have to look around and you'll find a way up or down or wherever you need to go. So yeah, I'm just gonna participate in this quest for a bit longer. Since there are a lot of fish corpses, I can do this quest fairly quickly. And when you're done, you don't have to go back to the quest giver. You can do automatically finish. You can you can get rid of the unwanted item for the usage of
Strong.
the usage of you can get rid of the unwanted items in your hands by simply using them as weapons, or you can get rid of them by the simple act of turning them into the quest giver or someone who is supposed to take care of the said items. So I just came across two different side quests. Unfortunately, you cannot resolve both side quests simultaneously because every side quest has its own area to deal with. And unfortunately, my enemy here is a basilisk, so he can turn me into stone for temporarily immobilize me. But thankfully, due to that, due to my resilience and everything, I'm more than capable of dealing with the monster. Oh, let's see. With relative ease. Alright, let's get rid of the let's get rid of these threats as quickly as possible. Unlock the teleportation area so that I can return here if I need to. And yeah, that's pretty much Guild Wars in all its glory. You have to explore. You have to combat other unwanted elements in the world, and depending on how well you perform, you'll get rewards. Well, you always get rewards, but you will also get achievements. As you can see, I just got an achievement for slaying a specific animal type, which grants me achievement points, to which I can trade in for specific rewards as well. So exploration in the world is always good. So yeah, certain elements of the world will respawn once you're done killing them. Or when you finish a quest, some things will always respawn, so that other people can participate in the quests as well. And yeah, on occasion a different event will occur, so you can always finish the side quest by simply fighting. Well, you could always fight in the game, but it's nice that there are other ways of finishing a side quest. You can just participate. You can just participate in gathering, in fetch quests and whatnot, and protection. And you can always resurrect fallen characters by assisting other players. For example, this is a group event here, which really requires multiple players to finish. I would like to try and kill that undead shark, but he is purposely overpowered to. Actually, just demonstrate. As you can see, the shark has 2 health bars. his armor health bar, which will regenerate after a period, and its overall health health bar. I'm not gonna take on that monster just yet because I just don't have the power. I just don't have the level to deal with it right now. I mean, I'll never have the level. The monster is purposely designed to encourage cooperation between players. So solo queuing monsters like these is a test of your skills, but also cooperation. And while I do admit that the underwater combat is fun and everything, I'm not that keen on fighting this thing just yet. I mean, just look at this. Oof. Yeah, I just took a crap load of damage from a single hit, and I couldn't even damage its armor. So it really requires a group effort to deal with the monster like this. So yeah, I think that summarizes the game pretty well. It's a very good player versus environment type of game, where you have to participate in different different form of different activities in order to progress through the story and level. But you can also participate in your own story missions, which will again level you up and keep you active throughout the course of the game. Okay, for now I think that about sums the whole game up. You can always just gather resources and be a craftsman in the game, but primarily the game will reward you no matter how you play it. If you're a pacifist that just wants to be a craftsman, you're free to do that. The game will not force you into combat unless you want to be in it. I mean, I could talk to one of these frog people to get an item or something that I need to get whoever is hiding in that tree to come out, but I just want to finish this mission quickly without too much trouble. So I'm just gonna try to get here without too much conflict. And yes, we also discovered a place of power, which gives us another skill point. And as I said, different enemies will have different levels, and names will have different health bars. So a veteran monster will have a shinier portrait and a higher health pool, but you can also take it out on your own without too much trouble. And yes, as you can see, thanks to my, well, not thanks to just mine, but any character can reset traps and light up the bonfires, but so you're not limited by your class when it comes to these side quests. You're never limited to combat. you're free to just be a pacifist and craftsman if you want to. So I think I can get I think I can end this mission. Oh no, I cannot. But sometimes you can just end the mission by fighting and killing specific enemies as well. So I would recommend that you consider when and where you're fighting someone, or how you deal with specific opponents. Oh, come on. It's just one more thing I have to do. Yeah, this is the beauty of Guild Wars. It's... Oops, I think my dogs are hungry. So I'll have to end this quickly. So yeah, this is the beauty of Guild Wars. It's... Oh, for God's sake! It's always like a turn-based strategy. It's always one more turn or one more quest. That's how good the game is. You always want to do another quest because they're really fun to do. And since my dogs are starting to bark, I should probably hop off on this. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. My name is Bedomy, and this was Guild Wars 2. It still is Guild Wars 2. It's a fun, free MMORPG you can play at your leisure. And if you want to purchase the game and enjoy it even more and support the developers, you can purchase the expansions by purchasing Path of Fire, which will grant you access to Heart of Thorns expansion as well. Or you can also purchase the End of Dragons expansion, which is the latest one. So they give you a ton of different content. As I said, this was what we currently explored was just a small portion of the vanilla world. There's also the desert, the Crystal Desert, the jungles, and the Kanta, which is a different continent on its own as well. And that's with every expansion you get an extra content. You get a lot of extra content. Anyway, guys, as I said, this is Guild Wars. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Bedomy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.